to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about how to grow your skills as an artist while still keeping that special something that makes your art entirely unique to you. Sounds crazy, I know, but it's actually really simple and I'm gonna break it down in this video, so stick around. Not to give away all my secrets right off the bat, but this first one is the biggest step in really helping to preserve your style in whatever you're creating. And that is to have a concept sketchbook. You might be asking yourself, what is a concept sketchbook? For me, it's a place where it's okay to make art and it does not matter how it turns out. I'm not expecting to make finished pieces, I'm not planning to love them, I'm just creating. And so this very first sketch I do in the concept sketchbook, I don't look at any references. I'm not pulling up other photos, I'm not looking at other art, I'm just creating the general idea of whatever's in my head. And I put zero pressure on myself to make quote-unquote good art in this book. This is a place for being brave, for putting together strange colors and trying new shapes and looking at wacky designs, because again, the end product isn't really what I'm going for right now. I'm just wanting to capture the ideas in my head so I can look back and reference them later as I start through the growth process. And the second step is where we start our growing. When I begin the second sketch, I allow myself to go ahead and start referencing other people's art, but I also make sure that I'm referencing my own original drawing so that I'm keeping some of the key portions I liked about my own style. And I also allow myself the freedom to continue experimenting, playing around, and putting no pressure on my end product, because again, when you start putting pressure on making something other people will like, you do run risk of losing that little bit of voice that is entirely your own, that little bit of style and flavor that can really become a defining aspect of your art. This second sketch can very quickly become a tug of war between what's already been done and what you want to do. So it's important to only change the things that you didn't like from your first drawing and to be okay with preserving the things that you did. Now that we've gotten a general idea of our design, it's time for my favorite part, the concept minis. And this is a page where I go nuts. I test out every what-if idea that came into my head while I was experimenting in the first two drawings. So for example, what if the petals had a fatter shape? What if the colors were filled in just a little bit differently? What if I added leaves to the side? And then how would I color those leaves? What color of green should they be? What if the second layer of petals was in a different spot? What if the petals were long and skinny? And so on and so forth, filling a page with tiny drawings where I don't put any pressure and the end result does not matter. Once I've designed a favorite from the concept sketches, it's time for the final stage of the growing phase. For this sketch, I heavily reference other art as well as my own prior sketches so that I can make a more polished piece that's closer to what the final product is going to be. And at last, we are on to the final product design. These sketches go into a separate sketchbook that is higher quality and has nicer paper, and I do put a lot more pressure on myself to make high quality product in this sketchbook. And because I'm going to be more demanding with the final design, I'm always going to go in with my pink erasable first, so that if I make any mistakes, I can just correct them. For art like this that's highly symmetrical, I do find it's very helpful to use a ruler and actually measure out and create graphing lines for myself. And yes, I do know this means I owe an apology to all my math teachers when I told myself that I wouldn't need math to do art. I was so wrong. And to all of you art students who might still be in school, Respect your teachers. You actually are learning something, you just don't know it yet. The really nice thing about doing all of those previous sketches is that even though the pressure is high now, I feel ready to manage it because I've already drawn this picture about 10 times now. My hands are familiar with the subject matter and I'm ready to make a finished piece. I'm not worried about how my colors are going to blend together, and I'm not worried about the design that I've chosen. Everything I'm adding in has already been tested and I already know that I like it. And while it seems really time consuming at first, the growth you're going to see in your art is incredible and you will not regret it, I promise. And when you're done, you get to start making things like this that are really beautiful and you can take a lot of pride in knowing you made a finished piece. So guys, that's the end of today's lesson. But seriously, thanks for sticking around, and I hope you were able to learn a thing or two, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.